Hi, I'm Jeff Davis, and in this video, I'll discuss 5 best practices for reducing costs in Google Cloud. This video was produced for Google Cloud Next 2022 and is brought to you by ROI Training. Let's jump right in. The first strategy is to use the recommendations feature in Google Cloud. Let me switch over to the console and show you how it works. You may have actually seen this when looking at a list of virtual machines in Compute Engine. Up here at the top, I have a little notice that says one of my VMs is underutilized. I can save money by changing the machine type. And I have this recommendations column, which will show me recommendations for any VMs that it thinks are oversized. So I can click on this recommendation and it will show me that it's been tracking performance of this VM over 7 days. That while I have an N1 Standard 1 VM, I have too much processor and memory, I could actually switch to a G1 small machine and save money. And then I can actually choose to apply this recommendation, and if I apply the recommendation, it will stop my VM, change the instance type, and restart the VM. Now, I could scroll through a list of dozens or hundreds or thousands of VMs and look at individual recommendations, or alternatively, I could go to the dashboard and choose recommendations. And this is going to give me a high-level view of all the recommendations for my project, including down here, you can see that it says, hey, I think I can save you X amount of money. This would show you all of the VM recommendations in one place, and then you could go through and pick which ones you want to act on. In addition to giving recommendations for resizing VMs, it will also hunt down all your unused Compute Engine resources and tell you how much you could save by doing something with them. For instance, I have some disks that aren't being used. They're not attached to any VMs. I could delete these disks and save money. I've got some custom disk images that are not being used by any instances. I could delete those. And it'll actually list any static IP addresses that you haven't assigned to any VMs either. So this is a very quick and easy way to find all sorts of opportunities to reduce your Compute Engine costs. The second strategy is the use of spot instances. When you create a VM in Google Compute Engine, you can scroll down to Advanced Options. In Advanced Options, you can choose Management. And in Management, you can choose a VM provisioning model. The default is a standard provisioning model, which creates a normal VM. This is a VM that is yours to keep until you shut the VM down. Google's never going to come take it away from you because they need extra capacity. But you can also create something called a spot VM. When you purchase a spot VM, Google is essentially selling you excess capacity. And they're doing it with the understanding that if they need it back, they can give you 30 seconds notice and it'll shut down the machine and reclaim that functionality. Now, you get a big benefit for this. You'll notice that the price went from about $25 to $8. So you can get between 60 to 90% discount for using spot instances. Now you may think, well, wait a second, if Google takes my VM away, that's not a great deal. But as it turns out, there's all sorts of architectures where this works fine. For instance, let's say you've got a web application and you've got 25 servers that are spot VMs and they all sit behind a load balancer. Let's say you get an 80% discount. You're getting 25 web servers for the price of 5. If Google comes along and turns off 5 of your VMs, you're still ahead of the game. Now, there is a bit of an issue, which is if Google needs capacity, they're likely to take a large number of your VMs back. So you probably don't want all of your web servers to be spot VMs. But a good architecture might be to have 5 standard VMs, which can, in a pinch, cover your usage requirements. And then you have a whole bunch of excess capacity that are spot instances at a relatively inexpensive price. So that's strategy number 2. The third technique that we're going to look at is leveraging GKE cost optimization insights, and this would be used by organizations that deploy workloads onto Google Kubernetes Engine clusters. Here you can see that I've got a single cluster listed, and I'm looking at the cost optimization tab in the GKE user interface. What this shows me is the number of CPUs I have, the number of CPUs requested by my workload, and the actual number of CPUs used by those workloads. And what we can see is that my workloads are requesting and reserving capacity that's much greater than what they actually need. As a result, I can't deploy additional workloads without making my cluster bigger. I could fit more workloads on the same size cluster or even a smaller cluster if I adjusted the workload resource requests to more accurately reflect the amount of resources actually required. This shows me at a cluster aggregate level if I want to see individual workloads and how they are requesting resources versus consuming resources. I can go to the Workloads tab and I can see the same sort of chart, but for every single deployment or stateful set that I have deployed. And you can see that across the board, all of my workloads are requesting way more resources than required. So if I edit the manifests, redeploy these with more accurate resource requests, I will be able to actually shrink my cluster and save money, or put more workloads on the same cluster for the same amount of money. And that's pretty cool. Fourth strategy is for BigQuery customers, and this is BigQuery Flex Slots. Here's a query that I've run against a 100 billion row table, so a pretty big table. Took 32 seconds to execute, and it processed roughly 3.5 terabytes of data. I get charged $5 per terabyte of data processed when using standard on-demand pricing. So this query cost me $18 to run. I can reduce this significantly by switching to a different billing plan. So if I switch to flat rate pricing, what this allows me to do is purchase a reserved set of computational slots, and then I pay for the reserved compute capacity, and I don't have to pay on a per terabyte basis for running my queries. So what I can do is I can choose to purchase slots. I'm going to purchase flex slots, which allow me to pay for a minimum of 1 minute, and then I get billed on a per second basis after that. I'm going to purchase 2,000 slots, which is roughly the allocation that on-demand users get. You can see that if I used these slots for an entire month, I'd have to pay $60,000, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this batch of slots for like 2 minutes, and I have to pay 4 cents per slot hour total. So what I'm going to do is confirm my purchase, and then all I have to do is allocate these slots to a particular project, and all of the queries that I run in that project will run against this reserved slot capacity, and I don't pay on a per terabyte basis. So here what I'm doing is I'm allocating these slots to my project, and now if I go back and I run this query again, assuming it takes 32 seconds, and then I go back and I delete the slots because I don't need them anymore, I will have used the slots for 2 minutes or less. Now, if you look at pricing, if you took 2,000 slots for 2 minutes and then divided that by 60 to get the total number of slot hours, it's 66 slot hours. You multiply that times 0.04, you can see that for using all of those slots to run my query, I'm going to pay $2.67 or less if I delete the slots faster. And that is like an 8x improvement in query costs, which is great. Last best practice is all about knowing where your money is being spent, and that's billing exports. You enable billing exports by going to the billing page for a particular billing account and choosing export. And you can basically have all the information about all your spend on every project for every hour exported into BigQuery. Standard usage cost is sort of high level. Detailed usage cost is per resource. And I've got this all set up so my data is exporting into BigQuery, where I can run interactive SQL analytics, or I can build dashboards. So for example, this helps me to visualize where my spend in Compute Engine is going. And I can see that I've had a big increase in core instances and instance RAM in August 2002. This helps me understand if there are changes in my spending. I can drill down and figure out why those changes have occurred. I can see a tabular representation of this data. I can see trends and identify when there are unexpected bursts of usage. And you can use this to basically identify where you might have opportunities to reduce costs. There you go. I hope you found that useful. On behalf of ROI Training, I hope you enjoy the rest of Google Cloud Next 2022.